Did you finish packing? You're not backing out at the last minute, are you? I'll be out by tonight. I'm going to miss you. Who else am I supposed to vent to now? She said her piece and hung up. I couldn't help but smirk, already anticipating how fast her cheerful demeanor would nosedive. I'm Arya, 29 years old. I currently live in a high-rise apartment just outside Boston with my parents. Not too long ago, I was married, but things ended after my husband cheated on me. Once the divorce was finalized, I moved back in with my parents, returning to the house I grew up in. The place was old and felt more cramped than cozy, so we all agreed it was time for an upgrade. That's how we ended up in this more spacious apartment in the sky. I've got an older brother, Samuel. He left home years ago. When we moved here, he made a snide remark, "Pretty clever of you to buy a high-rise with your divorce money." I brushed it off. I've been doing fine here, working from home and living a relatively peaceful life with mom and dad. Samuel, on the other hand, rarely visits or even calls. He keeps his life pretty much to himself. I know he has a job, but the details are fuzzy. Every now and then, I check in to give him updates about our parents, but he never seems interested and usually ends the call pretty fast. Honestly, I've questioned whether he takes his role as the eldest seriously. What I didn't expect was for him to show up with a whole new set of problems. One day, my phone rang, and to my surprise, it was Samuel. "Samuel, everything okay?" I asked. He sounded oddly pleased with himself. "Yeah, just wanted to let you know, I'm getting married." "What?" I blurted out, shocked. Samuel had always been single, and I never once heard him mention dating anyone. I honestly thought he'd be a lifelong bachelor. "Who are you marrying?" "Someone I work with. I'll bring her over next time I'm free. Tell mom and dad." Just like that, the call ended. I stared at my phone, wondering what kind of woman would willingly tie herself to Samuel. He's not exactly easy to deal with, and financially, he's a mess. Whoever she was, I figured she must be pretty tough. He said they'd visit soon, so all I could do was wait. On Sunday, they came. "This is Scarlett, my fiancée." Scarlett had this flashy style, her makeup perfectly done, her smile a little too polished. "Oh, you must be Arya. I've heard all about you." "What exactly have you heard?" I asked, uneasy. "Oh, just things," she said with a knowing smirk. Something about her rubbed me the wrong way from the start. Then they started gawking at the apartment. "Wow, it's so roomy. This place is amazing." Scarlett wandered through the apartment like she was casing the place. My parents looked on, clearly confused. Eventually, they said their goodbyes and left. 3 days later, Samuel called again to say they had officially registered their marriage. I found it odd, for someone so concerned with appearances. It seemed strange that Samuel wouldn't plan a big wedding. He's had a stable job for years, and if Scarlett works at the same company, they should be financially comfortable. When I asked, he just said, "We're too busy right now, we'll do a ceremony later." I didn't push it, but something about the whole situation felt off, and then he dropped another bomb. "Be home on your next day off. I need to talk to you about something important." That set off alarm bells in my head. Sure enough, on my day off, Samuel and Scarlett came over. "Actually," Samuel began, "we've been thinking of moving in." My parents and I were stunned. Scarlett chimed in. "This apartment is so spacious, and there's that big empty room, right? We'd only need that much space. Plus, it would be nice for Thomas and Natalie to have someone around to help out." I quickly said, "That room's meant for guests." Samuel shrugged. "Guests? When was the last time anyone stayed over? It's not like you're using it." Before I could argue, Scarlett cut in with a sharp smile. "Arya, let's be real. You're not exactly entitled to this place either, are you? Should you really be the one deciding who lives here?" Her tone was sweet, but the message was threatening. I finally realized what that uneasy feeling had been. Scarlett's fake charm was hiding something uglier underneath. Despite us never agreeing, they started moving in the next day. Their things filled up the apartment quickly. "It's getting kind of tight," Samuel mumbled. Scarlett nodded. "Wouldn't it be great if we had an extra room?" "Oh wait, Arya's room." "What?" "You know, the one where Arya just lazes around all day, doing nothing, total waste of space." I could hear them laughing from my bedroom. They wanted me to hear. Scarlett's attitude only worsened from there. At meals, she'd take jabs like, "Don't you think it's pathetic to still live with your parents at your age? Maybe try earning a living for once." I started eating in my room just to avoid her. That only made things worse. She started treating me like a squatter. I assumed they'd at least help out with expenses, but nope, not a single cent. I finally said something. Shouldn't you guys be contributing to the household? You're the eldest, Samuel. They fired back. And what do you do? You're lucky we're even here. If we give money to mom and dad, that just ends up covering your costs too. Why should we pay for you? Scarlett added, you're divorced, unemployed, and living off your parents. You should be embarrassed to show your face in public. I gave up trying. They were keeping all their money to themselves. Later that evening, I headed for the shower, only to bump into Scarlett. Oh, you're going in before me? She sneered. Why should I have to use the bathroom after you? I turned and walked away without a word. She shouted after me. How long are you planning to sponge off this house? Get out already, you useless parasite. At that moment, my decision was crystal clear. What they'd done was beyond forgiveness. My parents casually mentioned that Samuel and his wife would be heading off to Aspen for a week-long vacation. As soon as I heard it, a plan started forming in my mind. This was the perfect opportunity. I let them know that I'd be moving out while they were gone. The news had them overjoyed. Finally, took you long enough. Just don't leave behind your trash, Samuel said. Scarlett chimed in, smug as ever. So you're actually moving out? What a shame. Just kidding. Honestly, having you here was like living with a biohazard. Good riddance. Their excitement was almost laughable. But before I made that announcement, I had already sat down with my parents and shared a proposal. They were shocked at first but listened intently. After some discussion, they agreed. Before packing my things, I told Samuel that I'd transfer the ownership of the apartment into his name. He accepted instantly, no questions asked. Everything was processed quickly, and just like that, the deed was in his hands. They left for their vacation beaming. Time to make my move, I said, feeling lighter already. I packed my belongings and left behind the place that once held memories, but no longer felt like home. I was heading toward a fresh start in my new apartment. As I was settling into the move, my phone buzzed. It was Scarlett. You moved out already? Don't flake now, she said. I'll be gone by tonight. Ah, I'll miss my personal stress ball, she sneered, then hung up. I smiled to myself, imagining the look on her face when she'd return and see how everything had changed. The move went smoothly, sure. I felt a touch nostalgic leaving behind the old place, but I wasn't the same girl who once found comfort there. Now I had a new life ahead of me, and my own space to fill with peace. A week later, my phone rang. It was Samuel. I didn't answer. He kept calling, then stopped. Then Scarlett's name lit up the screen again and again. Exhausted by the buzzing, I finally picked up. What do you want? I asked. She was panicking. Where are your parents? And what's this about rent on the apartment? What do you even do for work? I sighed, one question at a time. Scarlett. She yelled through the phone. What do you mean your parents are gone? You're talking about mom and dad? They're here with me. They moved out voluntarily. They were tired of you two draining their retirement. What about the furniture, the appliances? Everything's gone. I took them. I bought them with my own money. Remember when you told me to clear everything out? There's nothing left. How are we supposed to live like this? You're adults. Buy your own things. You have jobs, don't you? And what about the apartment? Isn't it paid off? Didn't you use your divorce settlement to buy it? Nope, that's your misunderstanding. I made a down payment and took out a loan. I was paying $1,000 a month. Wait, what? I had a deal through some connections, designer and real estate contacts, but now that the apartment's in Samuel's name, the original agreement doesn't apply. Starting next month, the payment will jump to $3,500. What? Are you serious? Even if I had gotten divorce money, no way could I have bought that apartment outright. You should have known better. I didn't have to see her to know Scarlett was turning pale. Samuel's got a stable job, right? He should be able to handle it. If not, sell the place, though that might still leave you in the red. Wait, what exactly do you do for a living? You all just assumed I was unemployed. I'm an architectural designer. I work remotely. That's why I can afford to relocate whenever I want, and why I could buy a new high-rise without needing a loan. You've got to be kidding. Why didn't you say anything before? Just come back. Let's live together like before. We need you. Scarlett's voice cracked, still putting on airs despite being desperate. Too late for that. She continued yelling, but I ended the call and blocked both her and Samuel. Later, I heard the full story. Apparently, Samuel and Scarlett had been hooked on gambling even before they got married. They'd blown through their savings and were drowning in debt. That's why they had no wedding. All their money went to bets, while my parents were covering bills with their pensions. That was the last straw. That's why my parents agreed to leave with me and start over in a new place. Now, we live in a beautiful high-rise that I helped design myself. Thanks to my connections, we got it at 1/3 the market price, paid in full, no loans. As for Samuel and Scarlett, they never paid a dime on the apartment. They ended up having to sell it, and still owe on the mortgage. Now they live in a rundown, cheap place. Despite their situation, they still dress like they're rich, pretending nothing's wrong. Word has it they've been scavenging for leftover bread crusts at bakeries. It's a scary kind of pride they've got. Meanwhile, life for my parents and me has never been better. The new place is perfect, work is going great, and we enjoy our peaceful days together. Calls from unknown numbers still come through, but I changed my number last week. And with that, I've finally shut the door on Samuel and Scarlett for good. Here's to calm days, new beginnings, and never looking back. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, stay stunned.